don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can probably sound, I'm still a little bit croaky and still a little bit blocked up with the horrible flu-y kind of cold that we got, but I'm well enough that I can still get on and do some work. So I mentioned in last week's vlog about these little mini file folders that I'd developed for the smaller notebooks and also for the upcoming traveller's notebook style little journal sets that I'm putting together. But because I got ill, I never actually finished the file sets off. So that was the Eclectic Set that I did. But I also wanted to do a second set with a different design of collage papers. These ones with the invoices and sales receipts on, which I've called the sales set. Not surprisingly. So I've had chance now because, you know, I can work and it's just my nose and my throat a little bit. That's still kind of not quite right, but my brain's still working and my hands work, so I can get on and do them. So I have done. So what I'll do is I'll go and sit over at my other desk with the overhead camera and I'll show you these in a little bit more depth and explain to you what I've done and what can be done with them. Okay, so these are the two sets. So this one is called the Eclectic Set and this one is called the Sales Set. So before I go any further, I just want to clarify and clear up if anybody's wondering about paper sizes. Okay, so I've designed this file folder to sit on an A4 a metric A4 sheet of paper, and I know that over in the States you use the Imperial and paper sizes are slightly different. They're 8.5 by 11, so I just happen to have a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock here, so you can see the difference in size. The 8.5 by 11 is wider. You can just see it is actually wider, but it's not quite as long as A4. So to make sure that it fits, I've obviously worked out the sweet spot between the two. So this is the file folder in real size, and that's an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So they do fit. So if you were wondering, they do fit on both sizes of A4 and 8.5 by 11, and you don't have to do anything at all to get them to fit. I've already done the positioning and all that kind of stuff for you. They are positioned kind of over to the left so that when you print on your 8.5 by 11 there'll be a bit of a wider margin on the right hand side, but it will fit fair enough kind of in the middle, top to bottom. When you're printing on A4, then that's what you'll get. You'll get that kind of gap, top and bottom, left and right. So I have made sure that they are both compatible backwards and forwards from A4 to 8.5 by 11, just in case you were wondering. So the same file, you don't need two different ones. You don't need a size for the US and you don't need a file for Imperial A4. They both work on the one file, or the one file works with both size papers, if that makes sense. Okay, so in each of the sets you get the three different positions of file folder. So as you can see, you've got the tab on the left, tab in the middle and the tab on the right on that. So that's the Eclectic Set, and on the Sales Set it's exactly the same, left, middle and on the right. Now the difference being it's what you can print on the backs. Okay, so we'll just have a look at the Eclectic Set first. So on the Eclectic Set I have included this front image, which is probably on the last one. There you go. So that's the full image, and depending on which way you like it the way up, it'll go both ways. So if you like it with the phrenology head and the little paper doll sat on the insect one, and the birdie, if you want that on the front, then you print it that way up. if you like, the other way, the little paper doll there, and the circus thing, then you print it that way up. It works both ways. Trust me, I've tried it. So, and you can do that on all of the inner sheets if you want to. Also, you've got that full collage sheet there. You've also got the grid paper, so you can print that on the inside as well, or instead of that on the inside. So you can have that on the outer, that on the inner, if that makes sense, like I've done there. And again, positioned to fit, so there's no worry about lining it up. And on the other one, you've got a kind of grungy, vintage piece of folded kind of cardboardy, actually it's an envelope, because that used to be the window. It's an envelope that's been opened up. Looks nice and grungy, doesn't it? So you can have that on the inside as well. But if you wanted file folders of that, then you can do that as well, because all you have to do is to print that first, and then you've got your blank template for each one that you can print over the top, and then you can cut it out. So not only are you getting the 3 complete file sets, if you like, the left, the middle and the right, with a choice of inside for printing, but you can also, with that same set, by using the enclosed templates, now I've just printed those out on the manila, so you're getting the blank templates also. So you could theoretically print those 3 onto that background, or that background. So if you wanted a file folder in all 3, then you can. But that also means you can print this on any kind of cardstock whatsoever. So I've just printed one on white paper, and then I've printed the same thing again on a manila card, which is the same as that one. There's the dots there, look. So you get the template, the 3 templates on on both the files. So regardless of which one you buy, you still get these, because if you only buy the one, then you get it. Easy as that. So that's what you get with the Eclectic set. On the sales set, again, you get your left, your middle and your right. And on the backs, you're obviously going to get the full collage piece, so you can do the same front and back if you want to. You're also getting the ledger paper, which, when you look, that's the same ledger paper that's in the background there. So theoretically you could, if you wanted to, have that on the front and then that on the back, so it all ties together, if that's what you want to do. Or you can just use your template and print all 3 files, all 3 tabs onto that one, if that's what you want to do. But you're also getting this vintage kind of grungy old lined paper, so you can have that on the inside if you want to, and it's the same kind of colour that's followed through in the invoices and the sales receipts on the front. But again, you can, if you want that as your file folder, then you just print that 3 times and then print your 3 templates over the top to give you that. So you've got the facility pretty much to mix and match and get them to do whatever you want them to do. The colours that I've used inside these file folders, so the colours like for the strips there, the strip at the bottom there, that kind of pinky, salmony pinky kind of colour there, that kind of greeny sagey blue colour there, and it's the same on the other set, that pinky colour, the blue, you know, and that kind of manila-y kind of aged paper look is the same kind of pastel colours that I used in the recent library cards and library card pockets as well. So they will colour coordinate with these 2 sets. So if you wanted to include these with those library card sets as well, then they will go. There you go. So a bit of a bonus there as well. I will be using those colours for something else a bit later on, for another project, keeping them all coordinated. So one of the things that I have done on this is the sail set. If you notice, I've added a kind of faux distress around the outside. If you can see, it's a bit grungy all the way around the outside, so that if you don't want to add your own distress, it's already there if you want it. It doesn't look as though there is one on here on the Eclectic set, but trust me, there is. And what I did, or what I've had to do, just to show you, is I've had to kind of print one off really enhanced, just so that you can see it better. So there you go. It is actually there. So yeah, it was just the way that I printed these originally that it doesn't really show it all that well. But yeah, it is there. Trust me, it is there. So those are the 3 file folder sets. So what I will do now, just to show you what they look like when they're cut out, is go away and just do that now. So I'll go away and cut out these 3 sets. I'm not going to reprint them or anything with different inners. I'm just going to cut these 3 sheets out, and then I'll cut these 3 sheets out as well, so you can see what they look like once they are cut out. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. God, chair is kind of squeaky today. Right, so here we have them all cut out. So let's just do one set at a time. So this is the Eclectic set. So that's the file folders, as you can see. So there's the first one, and then open up, and that's got the grid paper on the inside. Don't forget, if you want it that way around, you can instead. Love the fact. And don't forget, all the imagery is the right way up, and when you turn it around, it's the right way up. Designed to switch. So I'll just go through the 3 pages. So like I said, got that one with the grid paper for bullets or whatever you want to write on there, if you want to write anything on it at all. On this one, it's that vintage envelope on the inside, and again, if you want that, that's what it looks like. I love the fact that you can swap and change and interchange if you want to, and coordinate the way you want. And obviously the final one, and that's got the same on the inside. So the same back as it is the front. So, but that one goes from being a left hand to a right hand. Double-sided. So there you go, that's the set for the Eclectic file folders, so I'll pop those there. And then the sail set, so again, it's the same way up, the right way up. And in that side you've got the same again, so again that's the one that can go left or right, depending on which way you want to do it. And then the centre one I've printed with that same ledger paper, so that's the same paper that's on the front, so it does coordinate if you want to do it that way around as well. Also. And then that final one has got the lined paper on the inside. So if you wanted one that you can write the contents of what's on it, then there you go. But you could as well, like I said, if you wanted to do that, you could just use the templates that come with each of the sets to do your own online paper, because of course you do get the 3 templates. I'm just looking around, I've put them on the floor somewhere. I've put them down somewhere. Let me just pull them back in again. I've not cut these out because obviously they just look like that. So those are the 3 templates that you can put and do on whatever paper that you want to use, whether it's cut down 8x8 or paper that you have or cardstock that you have in your stash. You may want to print onto music paper, you might want to print onto old maps and that kind of thing, and create your own file folders. So there you go. So those are the two current sets of file folders. Now, just before I go, if you wanted to make these into pockets, then all you have to do obviously is just add a little bit of double-sided tape down the sides, and they then turn into file pockets. But if you wanted to create a gusset for these, then I will just quickly show you how to do that just by using a bit of spare cardstock. Okay, so if you wanted a gusset that you can get more in, then all you have to do is to grab your trimmer or pair of scissors. All you need is to work out a reasonable distance between. So for example, let's just say, I'll do 4 inches. That's going to be about 100 centimetres. 100 centimetres, 100 millimetres. So about 4 inches or thereabouts. Okay, so all you have to do for this is then mark out your centre point. So let's just say if we do it 3 inches. So let's just cut it 3 inches by 4 inches. That's going to create the gusset fold. So then at 1.5, you need to score. So down the middle. And then halfway again, so let's just say at, where do we reckon? About there, about 2 centimetres. That should do it. Just under 1 inch either side. That should do me, I think. It doesn't have to be an exact science. I'm making a meal of this and you don't really need to. So to create a gusset, all you're doing is creating like a W or an M fold. That's all you need to do, look. And then you need to add glue on there or on there, and then you can stick that onto the inside of your file folder, and then that will create a gusset for you to be able to add more in. There you go. So that's as simple as that. And there's no, as long as it's an M or a W fold like that, it doesn't really matter how big it is. You know, it depends on how much you want to get into these file folders. You might only want to add a few bits and pieces, you might want to add loads. So you just make it that way. Just customize it. Literally, all you have to do is just create an M or a W fold. So just fold it in half and then just fold those over again. You don't even need to measure it really. That's just me being a bit, you know, me. But there you go. So as far as size is concerned for these file folders, which I haven't mentioned so far, if you've purchased the Medite journal kit, which this is one that's been made up and Ian spent 5 weeks going through making this journal with you, they do fit. So they're designed to be compatible with those sizes for the journals. So you can use these in your journals as file folders, so they do fit inside. That's one that isn't quite as bulky, and this one has book rings on rather than actual stitched in spine. So as you'll be able to see, if you wanted to add file folders into this, again, they are compatible. You just have to punch in your 2 holes for wherever you want them to go. Just use your front or the back as your template, and then use them in that size as well. So this is going to be the same size, or maybe slightly smaller, for the Traveller's Notebook one when it comes out. But I will make sure that these are backwards compatible so that they will fit. But again, if you want to make sure, if you want to use these for a smaller project, then don't forget, when you're printing them out, just reduce the file size down to the page size. So if you've got one of those printers that that says you can print it at 100%. Try printing at 75% and it'll be, you know, a quarter of the size smaller. Yeah, that's the right way around, isn't it? So if you did that at 50%, it would be half the size. So half the size. So it's up to you, once you've actually got them, whether you print them at full size or whether you print them smaller. There you go. There's not a lot of room on the page to play with to make them bigger, as you saw with that 8.5 by 11. Not a lot of room at all, but there you go. So that's what they compare size-wise. Those are the two new file folder sets. So you've got the Eclectic Set and then you've got the Sale Set, both of which are on my website now. So just a quick reminder, don't forget you've only got until the end of the month to download all of your Digi downloads once you've purchased them, because at the end of March my old website will be getting switched off and my new website on the 1st of April will go live. So you will have to re-register on the new website. But I have now introduced another way to pay on the website. You don't just have to use PayPal anymore. You can now use any debit or credit card. I'm getting croaky again, so it's time for me to go and have a drink. So that's all from me for today. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.